Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a diamond in the rough I'd like you guys to meet. His name is Ryan Ritchie. He is an offensive lineman out of UIndy. Nice to have you, sir.
Nice to be here, Jimmy.
UIndy's been rolling, man. You guys have been doing great this season. Really one of the better offenses in all of Division II this season. Uh, I know maybe a few weeks back, I actually listed you as well as one of your other teammates in a list that I had, which mentioned maybe perhaps some guys that might be considered for the Gene Upshaw Award, which showcases the best lineman in all of Division II. Ryan, go ahead and introduce yourself, man, and we'll get started.
All right. Hi, I'm Ryan Ritchie. I'm originally from the St. Louis metro area of Fallon, Illinois. I graduated in 2020, and I've been at UIndy for the past 5 years.
Awesome, awesome. Let's start at the beginning, the very beginning, and that is, how long have you been playing this game of football?
So it's actually my second sport. I was originally going to be basketball. I was really tall growing up. But I remember I was at a basketball tournament, and one of the football coaches saw me and begged my mom for me to come play football. And that was when I was maybe fifth grade. So ever since then, I've never been able to touch the ball, unfortunately. So I've always been on the line, but I played O line, D line in high school, and I've been playing O line at UND.
Yeah, obviously you're not one of the playmakers there, but you are one of the guys who, uh, kind of gets nasty in the trenches, and that's kind of what you're asked to do. You say you never get your hand on the ball, but is that something maybe you're practicing these days? I mean, maybe snapping on occasion in practice or what?
Yeah. So in the spring, I went from tackle to center, and then it was nice, but we decided as an offense I was better at guard because we had a really good center that was young, and we wanted to build him up. So moving from tackle to guard really wasn't much of a change, and I think I can play center. Um, I'll play anywhere that anyone wants me at.
Gotcha. Well, let's still paint the picture as we move along here. You had mentioned already that growing up you were a basketball guy, but finding out when I was trying to research about you, obviously played damn near every sport that you could possibly do, lacrosse, volleyball, and obviously basketball and football. Um, when we talk about your time there at O'Fallon, way back in the day, you in high school, what's maybe your fondest memories of your time there and maybe some of those other sports?
Fondest memory. So lacrosse, I didn't start playing until my sophomore year of high school, and just in football, there's a lot of big guys too. Like I was a big guy, but you're not always the biggest guy, no matter where you play. In lacrosse, I was definitely the biggest guy, and I think learning and then combining like what I already knew with football, what I already knew with basketball, like footwork and defense, um, that really helped. I think make me a better football player because I use what I learned from these other sports, especially lacrosse, where it's a lot of footwork, a lot of flipping your hips, and I think I brought that into football, and it made me a better football player my senior year, which was my fondest memory, is when I was recognized All State, and it was I remember when my coaches brought me into the room, that was one of the best experiences I've had.
Nice. All state in the state of Illinois is
Mhm.
where O'Fallon is, and obviously ended up there at UIndy in Indiana. Talk about that recruiting and ultimately how you landed there at UIndy.
Yeah, so I went to UND Mega Camp and my right before my senior season, and I really enjoyed the coaches and I enjoyed the facilities, and they weren't really on my radar before. They just invited me to come, and I came, and I really enjoyed the host, like for UND being a host. The recruiting went. I was getting a lot of D2 attention, and I was getting a lot of walk on FCS, and then I some walk on FBS like Illinois and NIU. And we decided that it was a better decision for me to go D2, get that scholarship, not have to pay for school, and also have a better opportunity to play early than like trying to work my way up from the FCS or even FBS. And it was difficult because every kid dreams of going D1, but it was a better decision to go D2. And I think especially UIndy, which has proven talent at offensive line, that this was a really good place to build me up.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're talking about schools at the Division II level, uh, play in the GLVC conference, um, you're it's really one of the better programs in the last several seasons. If we're being real. So I mean, UIndy is the place to be. They're able to put together some good offenses, which you were a part of. And bro, last season you were named first team all conference there, which is nice. But just wanted you to talk a little bit more about your university there at University of Indianapolis. What makes that place so special for you?
Definitely the people. Um, Ever since like we've had a culture since I've been there, and then now that I'm a senior about to leave, we're building up the culture for the young guys. It's that we're a team that it's going to put in the off-season work. It's going to put in the work needed in the spring, put it in the summer, and then once fall comes around, winter, that's when we have our rewards, right? We work harder than every other team. We like people don't I don't know if people know this about D2, but a lot of D2 programs don't stay for the whole summer. We're one of those teams that it's not required to stay, but like as a program, like we have the mentality like we're going to stay the whole summer, we're going to work, we're going to stay in Indy, and we've benefited. We've won a lot of GLVC championships the past few years, and I think that we're starting to be respected outside of our conference too, which is a big deal. The GLIAC and the MIAA, which are two huge conferences in our region,
Mhm.
and we have no doubt anytime we play those teams that we can compete with them because of the work we put in the off season.
Yeah, I mean, you've done pretty well for yourself, competing over like across the board at your level of play, where you've proven that you're one of the better teams over the years, which is great. Um, let's talk a little bit more about your school and let's kind of shift it there to the offense, where again, like we had already mentioned, previously you were a tackle last season, playing right tackle. Now you're a guard. So obviously a lot's changed for you, but describe your offense for people that aren't maybe as familiar with it. Like, how would you describe it?
Yeah, so the past few years we've had the same offensive coordinator who was also our line coach, so we were very run play action team. Like the run opens up the deep ball. Our offensive coordinator left for Western Illinois, and we promoted our QB coach. So there's a bit of a difference. We went from an O line centered guy to now we're going to do more RPOs, more passing, spread the ball out. But honestly, I think our offense has benefited from it. Not to say that our old offensive coordinator was bad in any way. Like he was a really like he was hard nosed. Like we're going to run the ball. But now since we're spreading the ball more and opening up like even giving the ball to the tight ends, which we haven't done before, it's definitely making it different. We're more of an like I would say not a wide zone, but outside zone, inside zone, trying to, but like out of 10 personnel, 11 personnel, trying to keep everything spread. But we'll throw the RPOs and you have to defend them. So it honestly makes it easy as an own lineman because you don't have those 5-6 second dropbacks that they're going to send everything to have because they have to defend so many things. So it's a very college offense, but we have the guys to do it. So I think that's why we're such a good and efficient offense this year.
Yeah, I mean, as you had mentioned, maybe in years past, known strictly as a run first
Mm-hmm.
team, where you're just pounding it. When it seems as if this season, it's more balanced,
Mm-hmm.
which so far is doing well for you guys. I mean, you've only lost one game, and it was only by 4 points. And so you're rolling this year. So let's talk more about that. So, um, as we're looking at this year, what do you feel has really changed this year versus years past? I mean, obviously it is part of like that coordinator that you talked about. But is there anything else around you, like any more of the pieces that have kind of, obviously taken hold this year?
I would definitely say across the board, we were good, but we had a lot of guys I think that weren't fully bought into the new age of UIndy because how UIndy's been the past decade has we win our conference, we lose in the playoffs. And I think that we really like this year, you can definitely look around, you can tell everyone's bought in. Like we're so no matter who we play, we're going to go in thinking we can put up 50 points. And that's our goal every game is to put up 50. And we brought in a new offensive line coach who is really pushing us to like get rid of the old like technique and focus on like trying to start as a new player. Right. I know you know, like he tells me all the time, Ritchie, I know you know how to block a three down off or a three down defense, but come into practice like you're a new guy. All right. And try to like keep everything out of your brain. So it's kind of like I wouldn't say we're like getting rid of what we already know. It's more like we're building a stronger offense and we have guys that are buying in. Like we know that if we run this offense the way that they're teaching us, we're going to score 50 points.
I mean, at the very least, what you're kind of describing here is the fact that even though you are a fifth year senior who has kind of learned things in his own way, you're able to adapt,
Mhm.
which you have. So, again, I'm talking to you as a guy who hopefully perhaps will make it to the next level. And as we look at you as a prospect, I mean, as we had mentioned, I mean, I know you've played some other positions, so there is some versatility there. But is there anything else that you feel separates you from the other talent at your position? Like, maybe what would you say is one of your best traits as an athlete?
I think I've played in a lot of games over my career, and there's really nothing I like in D2. You get a lot of random fronts. Like the 6-1 crush front's very popular. You get a lot of 3 down, 4 down, and I think that since I've played so many games, seen so many different defenses, run different offenses, that I think that I'm very adaptive. You could really put me in any spot, and you can put me a center, guard, tackle against any defense, and I can pick it up very fast. I can see the blitzes, I can see the safety coming over the top, and like maybe the corner's going to come, and I tend to overthink sometimes. But once I get on the field, everything slows down, and I think I'm really good at the film study, which correlates to me being able to see everything on the field.
So, what would you say is maybe I don't know, something your opponents when you're thinking about like what they trying to see how best to word this. What is it that they doubt about you all the time, which they shouldn't?
I think people, it's been this year. People tend to think I'm weaker than I am, so I get a lot of bull rushes at from 2 eyes and 3 tags, and I love that because I'm very good at like getting my hips low and jacking them up, and I don't know why they keep trying to bowl me. I lost, so I was around 320 last year, and I lost about 20 pounds to play guard because of more wide zone kind of deal. And I think they saw that weight loss and like, oh, he's an old guy losing weight. You can bowl him now. They can't. So I think that if you look on film, maybe that's the most rush I get. But and then they try to test me with speed. But since I have that experience at tackle, I like when they try to rush me on the outside because that's just I go to my tackle set. So I think they try to expose me in pass pro because they know that I'm maybe not as fast as some of the younger guys because I'm a 22-year-old fifth year senior, but I enjoy it. It's fun to go against different kind of guys.
Cool. So, you kind of alluded there that you lost a little bit of weight since last year, but Ryan, let's just kind of get it all out there. Current height and weight.
6'3" and a half, 300. So
6'3" and a half, 300.
you
Certainly
can
not
I
one
give
of the
myself 6'4".
yeah. But certainly not one of these guys who, maybe has like all the size in the world.
Mm,
But as you mentioned, I mean, a guy who has the experience and has the ability to understand defenses well enough to adjust to them. So not just gonna, get by with the simplest things like a bull rush. So
mm.
um, cool. Uh, Talk about your team a bit more. Who has been maybe perhaps I don't know the uh, most impressive teammate you've had over the years?
Most impressive teammate.
You can give me
So
one.
our running back John Lewis, he transferred to our team last year from I think a JUCO in Tennessee, and I would say he's probably like 5'9", 200 pounds, right? So he's a short, like stocky back. He squats more than our entire O line, and you see him in the off season, and he's doing lunges with like 315 pounds on his back, and some of the most impressive feats of strength. And the guy is tiny. So, and when you watch the film, and one of our best players this year has been our running back who can break every contact or every tackle, and it's because of his incredible squat. And I wish I had his athleticism.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, obviously we've got to give credit where it's due. So I mean, obviously an amazing athlete
Mhm.
that I think a lot of people sleep on. And but the good thing is that he has guys like you in front of him who's a veteran, who
He
knows
makes
how.
us look good, and we try
Yeah,
to
I
make
mean,
him good. Yeah.
it's good. It's good that there's that relationship there, and also the understanding where you're giving props to him, and also you know preparing the way for him as he's taking those open shots and you know going for those great runs. So um, when we're looking at some of these people, teammates, coaches, and even some people in your life, who has maybe been the most influential person for you throughout your.
Definitely my mom. Single mom, and you listed all the sports I played. Like she took me like all these places. She put me in all these sports. Um, she definitely like her work ethic and how she raised me is definitely the reason why I'm still playing college football. You know, first 2 years I didn't play, and then as you know, it takes a lot of I came to D2 because I wanted to play, and like definitely the work first, the success will come later mentality comes from her, and I think that she definitely, I mean, obviously left an impacting like impacting. She impacted my life more than I could ever describe, right? And I really appreciate everything she's done for me.
Awesome. So got to give a shout out to mom
Yeah,
for all that they do. So um, cool. So again, let's shift gears back to this season. Um, Doing very well. Again, only lost one game so far, and doing phenomenal. You guys are fixing to go to the playoffs once again and be a threat to everyone once again. And so along the way, I know you've had a lot of great matchups. What's been maybe your best game maybe that you feel has really defined you as a player, either from this year or maybe from past seasons?
define like me or define our team.
Give us both if you have two separate ones.
Um, I would say that define our team was I would I don't know if that's our same team then, but from this year, I would say that defined our team was when we played William Jewell and went to overtime, and it was just everything wasn't going right. You know, it was windy. We couldn't throw the ball. We kept like every time we felt like we got the ball, we're going into the wind. And I think like just overcoming everything, all the adversity, and like once we got to overtime and we knew we were in the red zone every play, we knew we were going to win. We just had that feeling. Like once we got there, like we're going to score in the red zone. And I think that's like what really like our team is about is we're going to be efficient in the red zone. We're always going to every time we get the ball, we think we're going to score. So, but what I would say the one that I think represents me the most was I would say the Saginaw Valley game. Even though that's the one we lost, and it was so like we felt like we were going to win that whole game. Like we never thought we were going to lose. But that entire game, they run this crush front. It's 6-1. It's supposed to be the best defense in D2 football or whatever. It's supposed to stop the run. They're going to force us to pass, and we ran for like 185 yards that game. And against this 6-1 impenetrable defense. And every single play, there was a 2-eye, and they put me on the backside of inside zone. And my job was to blow him up every play. And for 60 minutes that game, I blew him up every play. And I think that when I go back and watch that film to like look at how to block the 6-1, that is teach tape. And that was the best game I think I've ever had at UIndy.
That's good. I mean, I think about, I mean, obviously you talk about Saginaw Valley, and let's give credit where it's due. They're a really good team,
Very good.
and a lot of great talent there, on their defense. So being able to impose your will against those dudes, who do have a lot of respect, like on a national level, is great. It's great that you were able to go out there and execute and run the ball despite however many people are in front of you that think that they could stop it.
It was
I
during the
mean,
hurricane too. The hurricane came up and hit Indiana that day, and it was wet, stormy, and we were still running the ball with success.
that's great. It's great to have that. I mean, again, like you lost the game, but here's hoping that you're going to get to the playoffs and get some revenge.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what we're really hoping for. Obviously, you got a couple more weeks. Got to figure out the seeding in the playoffs. So we'll see. We'll see how.
Hopefully they win. They win out. So I mean, it would be awesome to play them again because I mean they're very well coached team, or well coached team, and it was just unlucky that we were the team that lost that game.
Hey, something hopefully to look forward to. I mean, hopefully there you will get that opportunity again with those guys. That would be fun. Great. So, Ryan, do want to meet you a little bit outside of the game. If you could please just, I don't know, maybe give me some fun facts about yourself, or tell me a little bit about what you do outside of football, hobbies or whatever. But give me a little something.
So I'm a very big Washington fan. Commanders now used to be Redskins. I have a lot of memorabilia. My grandpa is from Virginia, and he's been sending me all kinds of stuff from there. And I love to watch football. I think that running the ball is coming back, so it's been a very fun year to watch. Quarterbacks are kind of struggling in the NFL, a lot of sacks. Sometimes you just got to run the ball. And I just love football. That's why I think after I'm done, I think I'm going to coach. And that's something I want to do. I like you said, it's funny. You said something outside of football, but I mean, that's kind of my life. Like I live, breathe, die football.
No, no,
And
no. I get it.
so,
I mean, again,
I think learning how to so my major is secondary education. So I'm learning to be a teacher. And I
sure.
think I can take that major and use it for coaching as well. And once I learn how to coach the game, I think teaching how to teaching it is going to be much easier than like developing the playbook. Right. So I need to get better at that skill. And then I think the teaching and coaching is going to come easy.
Well, heck, I mean, maybe you're, teaching in a high school at some point, and maybe you end up being a coach to some degree. I mean, I could see you maybe as an O-line coach down the line. I
Yeah.
mean, that would be kind of a perfect scenario. I do want to ask some questions again, non-football related, trying to get away from that for at least a minute because I know it's
Yeah.
kind of hard not to. But uh, spoke very highly about your mom being the most influential person in your life. What is your favorite home cooked meal? when you go back home, your mom's one of
This is gonna sound
your
awful.
mom's favorite cooking.
It's gonna sound awful, but we always joke about this with people. When people say they're going home, they can't wait for their mother to cook. My mom's not a very good cook. We were more of like a takeout kind of family. Like if we wanted something nice, and if it was she wanted to save money, it was a mac and cheese with hamburger helper. Um,
Hey,
so
I grew up on that stuff, so I can appreciate it.
yeah, and when she does cook, she makes a very good chicken. Chicken cordon bleu is one of the favorite things she makes. But it was a struggle sometimes because she doesn't like to cook, and which is
No, no,
fine.
it's okay. So,
Yeah.
all right, let me get away from that, just for fun. So, what is the furthest you've been away from home? Is there like I mean, just give me a feel for that, and we'll take the conversation further after that.
Like playing or
Like
just like visiting, vacationing.
just in general, furthest you've ever been away from your hometown there in O'Fallon.
I was in Vegas this summer, but I don't know which was farther, Vegas or Cancun, but I've been to Cancun, Mexico. It felt
Oh
like
no,
like same flight. um,
maybe I'm trying to
yeah,
think. Like
I've always
maybe not
wanted
the
to
same.
go out of the country, but since with sports and everything, there hasn't been much time. But I think I would love to go to like Eastern Europe or Scandinavia. I think that'd be really fun.
Cool, cool. And let me see if I can give you one more before we wrap things up. Celebrity that you'd love an opportunity to meet, whether it be actor, musician, athlete, who would that be for you?
Um, Celebrity, definitely Tom Brady. I think I used to hate him because he was always he always won and he always just kept winning. But I think meeting him and just seeing how he schedules his very busy life and like how he approaches every day would be really cool. Just to like follow him for a day, just like be in his shoes, and you know that would be pretty cool.
I definitely understand the thought process there. I mean, you get a guy who's I don't know, really known as the GOAT when you're thinking about, guys that, are excellent at the next level, guys that are just damn near perfect in what they do.
Yeah,
So definitely understand the thought about wanting to walk a mile in their shoes.
and it's definitely like he started out as a guy who wasn't very like high. Like yeah, he went to Michigan as a quarterback, but like even coming out of there, he wasn't very like known. And like, how did you build that brand? How did you build yourself up? Would be really cool, like to talk to him about that.
Well, a lot of that, my friend, is opportunities. And
Mhm.
so, obviously, you yourself, you're looking for an opportunity to prove yourself this year and hopefully get that opportunity with a professional team when it's all said and done. So, as we close up our time, I want you just to look at that camera, talk to those, scouts out there, and tell them what they would get in a player like you if they took a chance on you. So, go ahead, wrap things up.
So my name's Ryan Ritchie. For all the scouts that haven't heard that yet, um, what you get out of me is a guy who wants to win. I I hate. I know everyone might say they hate losing, but there's a difference between hating the outcome of losing and hating the process of losing. I think that you lose the second you stop working your hardest every day. And the mentality that we've built at UIndy and what I've experienced for 5 years here is that I'm going to approach every day and I'm going to win the day. And what the outcome of that is us winning every game. And, sometimes we may lose, but that doesn't distract us from our goals. Our goal is to win the next day. So that's what you get from me.
Right. Well, again, Ryan, a couple more games left to play, and I just want to wish you all the best for the rest of the season and beyond, because I know you have a lot of other things going on. So, all right.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. Once again, Ryan Ritchie, offensive lineman, UIndy. Check him out this season.